Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today in another episode of Moment of Reflection. My name is Ray, and I post reflection videos every week that will motivate for a deeper understanding of the Word of God. If you have the desire to bring your understanding of the Word of God to the next level, you have come to the right place. In today's episode, we're going to explore the answer to the question, how do we view Jesus? But before we jump into our presentation, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell notification so you are notified whenever a new content is uploaded. Now let's begin our presentation. How do we view Jesus? We have three options in viewing Jesus. First, a liar claiming to be someone when he was not. Second, a lunatic thinking he was someone when he wasn't. Or the Lord as he was exactly who he claimed to be. First of all, his birth was contrary to all laws of life, and his death was contrary to all the laws of death. And today he is the foundation and focus of faith. He is the center and the source of salvation. If we compare Jesus to the great Greek philosophers, whom the great leaders of the world get their wisdom, like Socrates, an ancient Greek philosopher who taught for 40 years. He had a student by the name of Plato who taught for 50 years. Plato had a student by the name of Aristotle who taught for 40 years. And Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great and the Grecian Empire is the empire that spread philosophy throughout the world. When we look at these great teachers and philosophers of antiquity, Socrates teaching for 40 years, Plato 50 years, Aristotle 40 years. But when we look at Jesus, he only taught for 3.5 years, and yet his influence made a significant impact in our world today. Just imagine, the whole world celebrates Christmas and Easter in honor of Jesus Christ. How great really was the impact of Jesus Christ in our world today? Jesus had painted no pictures, and yet renowned painters like Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo da Vinci look at Jesus as the source of inspiration for many of the great paintings that have been painted in history. Jesus wrote no poetry, and yet Dante and Milton and scores of other poets found Jesus as the source of inspiration for their poetry. Jesus composed no music, and yet Haydn and Handel, Beethoven and Bach, and countless others reached the highest perfection of their melodies and symphonies and hymns from Jesus, inspired by his life. Jesus wrote no books, and yet there are more books that are written about Jesus than any other subjects in history of our world. Jesus built no church building because he had no monetary backing. He had no place to live, and yet the greatest buildings that were ever built were built to honor and worship Jesus Christ. Philosophy, art, literature, music, architecture, none of these things could touch what Jesus has done. He lived around 2,000 years ago, and yet he is still the central character in history. He lived for only 33.5 years, and yet he divided history from BC and AD. So the question is, who is Jesus to you? A liar? A lunatic? Or the Lord as he claimed to be? If he is your Lord, then read his word and follow his word. Luke 6:46 says, Jesus said, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not follow the things I say? Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." John 8:12. Anyone who loves me more than his father or mother is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Matthew 10:37. And finally, John 14:15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Well, friends, this is all we have for today in Moment of Reflection. I hope that this episode has brought you something to ponder, reflect, and dig deeper into the Word of God. So for you, who is Jesus? Let me know your answer and comment, if any, in the comment section below. If you like this episode, please give me a like and share this video to your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you again in the next episode of Moment of Reflection. Take care, keep safe, and God bless everyone.